Well, it is the story of the underdog getting the handsome prince that we all loved growing up. Now it is hitting the big screen with a star-studded cast.
Yes, and Jim Ferguson got to sit down with the director of Cinderella. And Jim, you have some really astounding things to say about this gentleman.
Yeah, I do. We're going to talk to Kenneth Branagh, who directed the movie, and we have the big stars, Ella James and Cate Blanchett on Friday. But when I thought Cinderella again, even though it's live action, it's not animated. The animated film was so great. It's Walt Disney. And I thought, oh my God, but I love this movie. I want to see it again.
Wow.
And I'll review it on Friday.
Okay.
And I'll tell a lot about it then. But Kenneth Branagh, wonderful actor. He's done everything Shakespeare you can think of, and also as one of the best directors in the business. And I asked him, you did Thor, you directed Thor, you directed Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, and he starred in that movie too. Why a fairy tale? From that to a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Here's Kenneth Branagh.
The surprise, the complete kind of inversion of everything you need for the other, and the chance to create a big, sumptuous, lavish world in which you could perhaps surprise people by just how human and humane the characters were.
Well, you'll be happy to hear that I sat right behind a whole row of youngsters, and they loved it.
Oh, fantastic.
And I think that's going to be all over the world.
Well, they're a tough audience, and we need to get them.
What you did with the characters, I marveled at, because this was the most beautiful stepmother with some substance and importance in her life that I've ever seen in this fairy tale.
Well, I'm glad you say that. We obviously have one of the great actors in Cate Blanchett, and she wears those costumes, those extraordinary costumes with such style, and she relishes the role of screen villainess as much as she relishes revealing some of the inner life of this troubled person. She does not ask for sympathy, but she allows us maybe to understand, and in so doing we can see that she's even more dangerous, because she's a sort of damaged human being, and she's desperate and she's dangerous to Cinderella, but being able to work with actors of that caliber and bring that kind of detail to the performances was a big thrill in this movie.
She just spent 2 minutes praising what you did with the ball scene. That dance scene with Cinderella and the prince. Unbelievable.
We had such an amazing sort of week or so as we were shooting it, but I do remember Kate coming on set that day. She said, "This is so difficult for me." She said, "My inner 7-year-old is out and dancing, but I'm dressed like that. I have to be horrid and be jealous and all the rest of it." She said, "It's so moving to see all of this going on," and there was a tremendous sense of excitement about the way the whole movie was going to the ball.
Looking at you.
Believe me, they're all looking at you.
Well, me and Heather were talking about how tiny her waist looks in there.
Itty bitty.
It's because we all think of what we imagine Cinderella to be like if she were in human form.
Yeah. It's played by Lily James, who you may, if you watch Downton Abbey, she's Lady Rose. And she told me that off camera. They had to squeeze that dress on her. She said they choked her,
Oh, yeah.
And it was very difficult. And she said, but more difficult was dancing with the skirt. With that huge skirt,
I'm sure.
that bit long dance scene that she does, But she's wonderful. And at the beginning, I don't know if Alex got it on camera or not, but at the very beginning, I'm a big fan of Downton Abbey. I said, "Lady Rose, it's nice to meet you," and then she just lit up, And that interview will air this Friday, along with the mean stepmother, Cate Blanchett, who's beautiful.
Yeah,
she's stunning.
And, this movie, the actors are human. Do you know what I mean? It's the best, in my opinion, Cinderella version ever.
Really?
Ever. Much better than the animated, because they're real people. Yeah. And I really like this movie a lot.
That is high praise. Disney just has that way of making that fairy tale feel real, don't they? I mean, I'm excited to take the kids to this one.
And one of the things that Kenneth Branagh was excited about was the effects, the way they changed the pumpkin into a carriage and the lizards into the footmen and that sort of. It's just brilliant. The costumes, the sets, everything about this movie is wonderful, I think.
Anytime you take something that we have known, you know, from our childhood on, and you try to make it into a real life movie, you have to be very particular and very spot on, because it's something we all know so well.
Right,
so I'm
right.
so glad to hear that they did such an amazing job.
Oh, they did. And again, we have Lily James and Cate Blanchett for Friday. The stars, the Cinderella herself and the mean stepmother.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to
this
those.
Friday. Next Tuesday, wear your green. It's St. Patrick's Day. We're
That's
gonna
right.
we're gonna do a rewind.
Of your favorite guy?
Chris O'Donnell.
Maybe, maybe we may.
Maybe, okay. Well, either way, I'm going to watch a Chris O'Donnell movie that day.
Oh, good. Okay. Watch Circle of Friends.
It's such a good one. But yes, wear our green. Well, Jim, thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure to be here. I have so much fun with you guys.
Oh, as do we. And Jim brought a DVD Blu-ray for you to win The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks. Just visit TucsonMorningBlend.com and click on the contest link to enter.